We weren't free in 1863 when Abe Lincoln emancipated Southern slaves, not to save them, but to break a confederacy built from spines ripped from black backs and covered in blood whipped from black backs, a heritage of hate kept alive on belt buckles and truck bumpers and state capitol flagpoles by assholes drowning in their own ignorance. We weren't free in 1865 when the 13th Amendment outlawed slavery, except in prison, and more than 200 companies use the slave labor. They don't send jobs overseas anymore. They send them to prisons that look like NFL rosters because they're over 65% colored except for the guards. We could end unemployment in this country if America wasn't busy being built on the backs of slaves. We weren't free in 1937. When the government decided to criminalize cannabis because it pays better to medicate for the symptoms, not the problem, and then they use laws to create another symptom for the problem, like the tops keep designing ways to take money from the bottom, like they poison our seed because they don't want us to blossom. We weren't free in kindergarten. When they taught us one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Pledge of Allegiance was written in 1892, back when they still pick niggas to lynch at picnics every day. Our children recite a pledge that was written when we had neither liberty nor justice. They spend the entire day lying to our children. Indoctrination starts off early. Train us at a young age to participate in our own oppression, because if you raise them young, they shall not depart. That's why we chase paychecks to pay bills. We either chase dreams or eat meals, and it's a cold world. So we keep the dollar and trade the dream for lights before we rise and shine in the morning to give crooked smiles to rich niggas for money. It's not our fault we have no role models. Our neighbors are still selling dope. Our artists are still using dope. Most of our heroes like to grope. We won't be free until our women control their bodies. If you control your women, you control the world. Beyonce was almost right. For-profit prisons build beds for our boys before birth. They don't want you to abort your baby because they don't want you to abort your baby because you are killing government property. We won't be free until we realize they have a mental monopoly. They have incorporated our thinking. We fight each other like we aren't the only ones who can improve our situation. Nobody will be free until we lift each other up. Until we spend our money with the people who look up. Until we spend our money with the people we look in the eye before we spend our money with the oppressor. Bear with me. We won't be free from a culture that rips us apart until we pull together. Until we stop splitting our own people down the middle by the shade of our beautiful. Until we realize that there is only Black people, that light and dark skin both bleed red and have a white target on their backs. Until we realize that our actions do far more damage than cop Glocks. We won't be free from this culture of hate until we realize that everyone's chains are different. That we must begin to love each other as sisters and brothers. Only then will we be free.